welcome to the Dancers Hideout Bitesize Sundays. The place where you'll find all the tips and tricks to help you,
me,
and your dance. My name's Ian, I'm a professional teacher and former competitor with over 30 years of dance experience. I think if you'd have said to me about 10 years ago that Ballroom Latin dancers would be able to compete on their own in solo dancing events, I probably wouldn't have believed you. But here we are, and solo dancing isn't just a trend anymore. It's actually an essential part of a dancer's toolkit, as well as actually being its own independent category in competitions.
Nice.
So today I'm going to break down the rise of solo dance competitions, what it really offers, and how you can make the most of it in your own. I think solo dancing really started to come into its own during lockdown. Not that we want to be thinking about that.
She's touching me!
I'm not touching you!
You're touching me!
Not touching!
Touching me!
I think solo dancing really came into its own during that period. Solo dancing really became a very, very popular form of dancing for anybody because it gave them an opportunity to still do what they really enjoy doing, regardless of what situation we were all facing at the time. But what's been really interesting to see is how this particular styling of dancing, which I guess I could probably say is a styling of its own right, has actually managed to branch into and create for itself its own identifiable category. From a teaching perspective, it's really, really good because you can focus on an individual's timing, musicality, technique. And for a dancing competitor, it's a great chance for you to personally own your own dancing and your performance. No partner to rely on.
Julian!
And no one to hide behind. In a roundabout way, personally speaking, I've experienced this type of dancing many, many times.
Just take those old records off the shelf!
Finding a dance partner for myself has not always been the easiest of journeys. I won't waste your time with it here. I do talk about this in my own book that I brought out, Glitter and Grit. So obviously, if you're really interested, you can read about it all there. In a nutshell, finding the right dancing partner for me was always very, very difficult because of numerous different factors. So there were many times when I would find myself practicing by myself.
There's no one here beside me.
And in a way, there was an interesting development that took place with this because I had to learn certain ways of moving by myself that became identifiable because my teacher maybe sometimes not always correcting these issues because of me practicing by myself.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
If I did a step and I turned too much, if I had a partner, the partner would be directly affected because they'd be turned off their foot. But because it was just me, there was no awareness to that, so I would just turn like this. And that's one of the risks that is involved in dancing solo by yourself, is that there's a lack of awareness, for want of a better term, of a partner awareness factor. Granted, it's not necessary for solo dancing, particularly if it's solo dancing in training, but the detail of being aware of a hypothetical partner is just as important in my view as actually maybe even having an actual dance partner with you. So if I take an example, for instance, of dancing something in the ballroom dancing and something in the Latin dancing very quickly, just so that you can get an idea of what I mean by this. The steps themselves are not too important, it's just the idea about what this represents, which is quite important. If I'm to dance an oversway line in ballroom dancing, okay? Let's say a foxtrot. So I'm dancing from this position here, and I'm going to dance the oversway line like that, okay? If I'm trying to dance this, maybe I'm in a solo dancing competition for myself, I want to give it everything. I want to give 110%, and unfortunately with this, the other details that surround this type of movement disappear. So if I'm gonna Ian Wyatt 2025 110% solo dancer, get out of my way. I'm gonna go into the movement, I'm gonna be like, yes, I can dance the shape, the movement. Now I'm gonna come out of it and then go backwards. In some respects, might look quite good.
Really?
But is not correct.
Obvious.
And we need to make sure that this is very, very clear. We can dance by ourselves, but we need to dance correctly.
You're goddamn right.
So when I'm gonna dance here into my oversway, I can't be forgetting the fact that this movement exists because it used to be danced with a partner. So I have to be aware that there is a limit to how I should move, particularly as a leader. I go from here, it's there. Why? Because I'm maintaining the vertical position of my body line as I create the shape. Now from here I can use my leg to move out of the step, change my weight, and then go backwards. Nobody's saying that you can't do anything. There is no such word as can't. Yeah, you get I struggle to, or I find it difficult, but there is no such word as can't.
Wrong.
In the same respect, we have to understand that these figures that we're dancing in solo dancing circumstances, they came from an original concept of two people dancing together. So we have to maintain particular details that relate to that stylistic way of dancing.
Okay.
Another great example would come to the Latin dancing. And in the Latin dancing, this is a little bit different. Latin dancing, by its nature, is quite individualistic anyway.
Liar!
When couples dance, they dance with each other, they're connected, all these things. But there are a lot more instances that people are dancing separately from one another. So you might do a thing where the lady spins away and she hits a position for herself. Then she drops into a switch of some description. It's highlighting the fact that you're not connected to your partner, you're by yourself. And because of that, you're not needing any sort of lead and like physical connection with your partner. In the solo type dancing, this aspect is not impacted as much because, like I said, we're doing it about 40% of the time in Latin dancing anyway, so the solo dancing sort of just correlates with that aspect anyway. So you can produce very good solo dancing in Latin because of the fact that majority of Latin dancing can be done on its own.
Okay.
Whereas in the ballroom dancing, even though you can dance ballroom dancing on its own, you have to dance it well, you have to imagine you are dancing with a partner still.
No way.
Whereas in the Latin, not as important. All of the figures that you dance in the ballroom and Latin dancing for solo events and for solo training come from coupled-based dancing. And because of that, you need to respect the principles and the technique that they are built from. If you've enjoyed today's video, be sure to give us a like. We'll really appreciate it, of course. If you want to see more from the Dancers Hideout or you haven't yet subscribed, be sure to hit the subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the bell icon so that you can stay notified for whenever we're putting out new videos or content. You can also drop down in the comments section anything that you found interesting or beneficial from today's video. Maybe you personally are a solo dance competitor and maybe you're gearing up for that next event or something. Hopefully these tips and tricks that I've mentioned from today have helped and given you a bit more insight into how maybe you can structure your development and your training going forwards. In the meantime, my name's Ian, this here's the Dancers Hideout, and it's been a pleasure.